In every dojo, some students seem to improve faster than others. Let's take a look at this today. Sports psychology research shows that focused practice and attention matter more than talent when learning complex skills. And I've noticed this in my teaching as well. I can't tell you how many times someone has come in to try Aikido. They've been really talented, and everybody notices. My students always say, "Oh my gosh, yeah, well, they're definitely going to join, right?" And I'm like, I don't know, we'll see. I try to never make predictions anymore. Anyway, sometimes the really talented people join, sometimes they don't. But when they join, it doesn't necessarily mean that they're going to be really good. It might not. The people who end up getting really good are the ones who watch the instructor closely and they quiet their minds. They notice the details. The quieter that the mind is, the more they can notice the details visually and then also tactilely. And they can also study the movement patterns. So maybe they watch details such as the angle of the body or how low tori is, how much they're bending their knees or something. But also they can notice the movement patterns. And if the mind is busy, then this really gets in the way of learning. For example, we had a new guy at the dojo just last night who was such a nice guy, and he was nervous because it was his first night at the dojo. So he did what a lot of people do their first night, which is I show a technique. At the beginning of class, by the way, these days when I have a new person, I say, by the way, here's how I teach. I try to speak as little as possible so that you can get reps in and so that we create an intense but meditative atmosphere. We create this meditative atmosphere so that you can really focus and quiet the mind, and that way you'll pick up more information. So this, first of all, does help them accept this teaching style that's usually very foreign for most Westerners. And so he was okay with that. But then every time that somebody came to him and said, "Onegaishimasu," he would say, "Hi, oh, how are you? I don't know anything. I don't know how to do this." And of course, it's it's all good, and it's almost kind of endearing in a way. All new people feel really self-conscious, of course. And but anyway, so I'll do my best as his instructor to see if I can um, get him more and more comfortable so that he doesn't have to do that every time. And it wasn't just when he would pair up with a new person. It was when he would pair up with anybody. And after every single throw, I don't know if that was the right one. See, tonight, I don't know, I can't, you know. And so he did great for his first class, but hopefully we can break him of that habit for his sake so that he can progress more. Again, when the mind is quiet, then you can focus more and you can get more information. You can see more details. And the first step to this, by the way, the first step to making the mind quiet is to make the mouth quiet. And as a teacher, I try to encourage people to do this. When I first came back after 10 years in Japan, I was like, "Don't talk." And, and now I like to say, "Let's talk later." So anyway, that seems to be working fairly well now. An interesting story, one of the guys who always comes to my seminars in Germany, Martin, he came to me and he said, "You lived and trained in Japan, now you're a teacher in Los Angeles." He said, "What is the deal? Why is it that Japanese people progress faster than Western people?" That's his statement, not mine. His statement. And I said, "Whoa, wow, interesting." I said, "Tell me more." And he said, "Well, I train 5 days a week, and so Japanese person trains 3 days a week, and so trains 3 days a week, and so trains." I watch them, and kudos to him for saying this. He's a black belt. He's been a black belt for a while. So it was really great. It was not about grading. He didn't mention like they got this dan or this rank or anything. He said, "I watch these those two people, and they got better than me, and I trained more than them. What is it? And he's an athletic guy. And I said, wow, that's really interesting. He's really, really an analytical thinker. And I said, well, it's possible, I don't know, but it's possible that maybe those two people are analyzing each and every throw less than you. Because I know that he does do that. He analyzes every single throw. And I said, I think there's something to be said. Now, you may agree or disagree with me, but I think there's something to be said for turning off the mind at certain points to certain degrees and just moving and feeling. I know that a lot of people don't like that idea. But anyway, I thought it was so interesting that he said, Japanese people progress faster than Western people. Why? I watch them and they're getting so good. In my opinion and my experience in Japan, silences are more accepted. At least they are more accepted in Japan than in the USA. I can't speak about Europe, but I think that it's similar. But we Americans, in general, there are exceptions, in general, we Americans like to fill up those silences. And one of the things that I really liked about Japanese culture was that the silences were accepted. And they were so refreshing, so peaceful. So I think that helps in Aikido. When you can quiet the mouth, but also quiet the mind and move, you will notice more. So getting back to why some students improve faster than others, getting away from the cultural topic that I just wandered on to, another quality that those people have is they try to stay loose. And this really doesn't have anything to do with stretching. Oh, I'm not very flexible. I hate yoga. No problem. But you can learn to connect with your partner without jolting them, so to speak. One of my senpai, he's now passed away, Takahashi Sensei. If you watched him during the warm-ups, he was really pretty stiff. You know, I could touch my toes better than he could. And I'm not particularly flexible myself. But when you touched him, it felt like you were training with a cat. So flexible. And he just knew how to not collide with you. So the people who get better fast, they find a way earlier than others to not have that jarring feeling when you connect with them, and yet not get overpowered. So that's the balance to find. That's the real challenge. The third and final point about those who improve faster than others. First of all, of course, they show up for training. Nobody ever gets really good without good attendance. I really do recommend minimum 3 times per week. That's where you will see really nice payoff. But other than that, they stay curious. They ask thoughtful questions. They shut up after the question and listen to the answer. I can't tell you how many people ask me a question and then they start to answer it before I have a chance to answer it. It's really interesting. So, and they stay open-minded during practice. They practice beginner's mind is what it's called, which means please never have this sentence in your mind. Please never say to yourself, oh, Shihonage, yeah, I know this one. Don't say, I know this one. You never know this one, right? Because there's always better. You can always do it better. And if you tell yourself, oh yeah, I know this one, you're not going to try to reinvent it. And you know, you don't have to reinvent it like my teacher said to enter with my inside foot. I'm going to try entering with my outside foot. You don't have to reinvent in such a blatant way. But maybe just like tilting the hips a little bit differently or something is going to give you a whole new insight. And people will go like, whoa, it was so much more powerful. I was training with you last week and it didn't feel that way. You know, so never tell yourself, I know this one. You can tell yourself, oh, I like this one. Oh, we're doing this one tonight? Yeah, I love this one. But don't tell yourself, I know this one. So keep shoshin, beginner's mind. Approach every class and every technique as if it's the first time that you're doing it, the first time that you've been introduced to it. Keep an open mind. If your teacher starts doing variations, then be curious about them. Celebrate the variations. Also, reflect on your training. What do you want to improve next in your own training? I have some students who are at a level where they're now leading class, and I'm guiding them on how they can become a teacher someday. And I always ask them, okay, how did class go? And they tell me, and I said, what did this student do? What did that oh, good, yeah, you could try more of this, and oh, keep doing that. Instead of that, I would try this next time. And then I also ask them, what are you working on? While you were leading the class, what were you trying to improve about your Aikido? Reflect on your training and try things off the mat too in your day-to-day life. You know, maybe I still catch myself a little bit like this sometimes when I'm walking down the street, and then I go, oh yeah, I want to open my chest and have good posture. For a while there, every time I had to pick up something from the floor, I would do the footwork like the shihonage throw, a really deep shihonage throw. Do you know what I mean? Where you go into hammi and you reach down while keeping your back straight and bending your front knee a lot. So I practiced that all the time when I would be picking something up. For months and months I was doing that. So reflect on your training, and that will really help you be one of those students who makes progress faster. So in conclusion, improvement often comes more from curiosity and tenacity, showing up all the time, being the first on the mat, the last off the mat, and quieting the mind, than it does from talent. So keep showing up. Don't give up. When plateaus come, keep showing up. Looking forward to training with you someday, I hope. If you do want to train with me in person, I'll be teaching in Boston next week just for one night. That's July 1st. And July 15th through 19th is our 30th anniversary summer camp and celebration in Los Angeles. It's the 30th anniversary of AKI USA, the organization that I made after coming back from Japan after 10 years. So please join us for that. I'll be the main instructor. There'll be some other AKI USA instructors and some other AKI instructors, one of them Numata Sensei from Japan. You will not regret it. And in September, right around the corner now, I'll be taking a group to Germany. We'll be doing a tour. We'll be going to 4 different dojos in 4 different cities: Heidelberg, Bonn, Düsseldorf, Zende. And we'll be doing some training. Of course, we'll be doing some seminars, but we'll also be having some off-the-mat master classes. So please join me for that. There'll be a link in the description below that you can click on to get all the details and info about that tour. And then I'll be in Montana and Redlands in October. So please join me somewhere, sometime. Looking forward to training together. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.